Hello and welcome. The parliamentary democracy is widely watched in India across the world. And for the last two sessions of parliament, it has been widely criticized. There have been a lot of critical commentaries on the functioning of parliament because as many as 150 MPs from both the houses were suspended from the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha for reasons being cited by the chairs that they were disrupting the proceedings. Joining me is a very special guest who has seen parliamentary functioning for decades. He had been watching Parliament's functioning from a very close quarters. Mr. Narayanan is joining us from Chennai. Very warm welcome to the show, Mr. Narayanan. Good evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening.
To begin with, the last two sessions of Parliament, we have seen a lot of acrimony between the Treasury benches and the opposition. Uh,
Yes.
the popular saying is that, and that is even a convention, that while the government has say, the opposition, no, sorry, while the government has the way, the opposition has its say in the parliamentary functioning. So, how do you see the space of for the opposition in Parliament in the current dispensation led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
See, let me first at the outset to say, I do not want to point out a particular era, but nevertheless, the Parliament functioning has not been appreciated equally by the present dispensation and past dispensation. One reason is our Parliament is a leviathan in chains, because by the root of it, Parliament, outwardly you can say Parliament is, superpower, etc., etc. But it has no powers at all, technically speaking, especially in the context of anti-defection law, especially in the context of basic structure, division of powers, Article 13 and Article 32, Article 142, these provisions completely take away the powers of Parliament. Because Parliament never functioned, to my view, Parliament never functioned independently. Especially in the present dispensation, I will go to the extent of saying Parliament has become irrelevant. In the sense, I'm not blaming the dispensation. In practice, because there is no consolidated opposition, though opposition is there is no consolidated opposition. The opposition are not enough to be taught. They have not learned lessons. And the three elections, you told me specifically the past two sessions, the three elections, the dispensation gets strengthened only with the people's mandate. Only with the people's mandate. Why Mr. Modi government has become so strong now? The same number of members, 312 or 305 members, they have majority. Why? You see, the first term of Ms. Modi and second term of Mr. Modi, and both the things you compare, because the three elections have given them the enough strength, moral strength. In fact, it is a moral strength. They are sure they will come back to the power in third term also. So this is reflected in the behavior of the members of Parliament, their ruling dispensation, and also the presiding officers, because they know pretty well. So this is one reason. Now, this is my view. It is true. You are also partly responsible. Media also partly responsible. You yourself say 150 members have been suspended under Rule 373 or 374 or 374A, and consecutively the bills have been passed on voice vote without any discussion, most important bills, you have not written even a single editorial. Whereas, normally speaking, any person can do mimic. I am not justifying it, remember. I am not saying that it is correct. I mean, it should ignore, R.K. Lakshman's cartoons about Pandit Nehru, about Mrs. Gandhi, Mr. Other Congress leaders, so sarcastical, but it was not taken seriously. So this has been taken so seriously and occupied the headline. At the same time, 143 members have been suspended. It was only in the small news. Not only that, which media has reported that the deputy speaker post is unfilled for the past 5 years. Tell me one newspaper which has written deputy, whose responsibility it is. It is the responsibility of the speaker. It is not the government. It is the speaker's responsibility to fill up the post of the deputy speaker, and it is the responsibility of the president to fill up the post of the speaker constitutionally. It has not been filled. So tomorrow, I mean, Modi is a perfect gentleman. He will not do it. I'm sure he will not do it. He is backed by your most patriotic organization, RSS. I have full faith they will not do anything undemocratic. But so supposing, let us say, a crew has come to this. Tomorrow they can keep the vice president post unfilled. As per the constitutional provision, if that, let us say, Mr. Dankar has resigned, you need not fill up the post. You can keep it. You see the constitutional provision. The vacancy caused as a result of resignation or removal or death of the vice president can be filled as soon as possible. Underline, as soon as possible. As soon as possible is left to the interpretation of the dispensation. The speaker position will come tomorrow to vice president. And what is there? So
Indeed.
it is.
Mr. Narayanan, let me come back to you again. This video is going to be a little long, and I will request the viewers to watch the discussion very full, because Mr. Narayanan is a very erudite person, and he has worked with several union ministers in the last 4 decades at the central government, and he has been at a very close quarters. He has watched the functioning of parliament, and he is an expert of Indian Constitution. So what he is going to share is pure knowledge that will benefit everybody, and will share insights which are not available in the mainstream media. As Mr. Narayanan has rightly said, that the media has been also complicit in not criticizing enough the happenings which are taking place in the proceedings of the parliament. So coming back to Mr. Narayanan, you said that anti-defection law, and consequently the whip, the tradition of issuing whip, they have in some ways made parliamentary functioning a little less democratic. Can you please explain what you mean to say?
Yes, Mr. Manisha, tell me one legislation which has been cleared by the cabinet has been defeated in the Lok Sabha. Cannot be.
Yeah.
Cannot be. Any legislation which has been cleared by any cabinet, because it is a parliamentary form of government, collective responsibility, and the anti-defection law. Say you see the committee meetings. Committee meeting, every member will agree that a particular provision in a law, in the bill, is wrong. But when the meeting, class voting comes, they will support the ruling dispensation, even though there is no whip. Remember, even though there is no whip for the committee discussion, the ruling party and opposition, support or oppose, as the case may be, depending upon the party lines. So in the system is like that. There is a complete collusion, rather amalgamation of executive and legislature. That is the characteristic of a collective responsibility and a parliamentary form of government. Every minister is a legislator. Every legislator is a potential minister. Unlike UK, you see the committee meetings in House of Commons, you can express any opinion. There are many laws which have been changed by the committees. Is it possible in India? It is not possible. I have worked with all humility. I have worked in public, except Public Accounts Committee is unique in the sense they cannot submit a controversy report. It is a consensus report. That is why Public Accounts Committee reports are much respected. A report which is have a difference of opinion are dumped. It is not placed on the table of the House. But all other committee report, there is a dissent note. Another point is, remember, I will tell you two classic examples. The 38th Amendment, Constitutional Amendment Act was passed by Mrs. Gandhi government. It was introduced in the morning. It was passed in the evening. And next day it was assented to by President. One day, Constitutional Amendment. Constitution, it is on record. See, I am not going to the merit or demerits. Subsequently, when an ordinance was issued, when the ordinance lapsed, it was withdrawn by the subsequent Janata government. I say the same members of parliament, say Mrs. Gandhi commanded so much respect, so much knowledgeable people. They all supported that, where she wanted to set up a separate body to inquire into the electoral disputes of Prime Minister, President, Vice President, and the Speaker, to escape from the Rajanarayan verdict. It is Allahabad High Court which unseated her. To escape from this, she introduced and it was passed. Who passed it? The members of parliament. Subsequently, it was withdrawn. That means the members of parliament who voted for the bill have not been properly educated. The same thing happens here also. See, with due humility, with due regards, members of parliament, their bread is buttered in their constituency. Yes. They have no time to go through the bill. If Congress President of the Congress say you vote for this, they vote. If the Mr. Modi dispensation say you vote for this, they vote. They never question, I don't say they never read. They read, they disagree, but they have no other alternative. They have no other alternative. Why? There is a reason, anti-defection law. You tell me, I give, which a cabinet proposal, which has been discussed, passed in the cabinet, whether any legislation has been defeated in Lok Sabha. The very purpose of Article 75 is that Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. There is no other way. There is no other side. See, you say a censure motion, what is called a no confidence motion, adjournment motion, President thanks motion, etc., is only presumptive. The Constitution simply says the Council of Ministers is collectively responsible only to Lok Sabha. This is the only one sentence. You elaborate this sentence, this sentence can be interpreted only when there is a difference of opinion. There cannot be any difference of opinion. Indeed. There cannot be any difference of opinion when the anti-defection law is there. And especially 3-line wave. 1 line and 2 line, okay, you can ignore. 3-line wave. And who decides? Remember, everything is Council of Ministers. Who decides the joint session? Council of Ministers. Who makes the, with due regard, I'm not saying that dispensation will do it. There are many things. You see, you have in your lifetime, I have in my lifetime never seen a state has been downgraded to union territory. A state has been downgraded to union. I have seen union territory upgraded to the state. Absolutely. There is a provision. And what is the provision? You take the views of the concerned state legislature and the president recommends. Remember, recommendations of the president and the satisfaction of the Council of Ministers. And here is the case, JNK, where the union territory, state has been reduced to union territory. Who gave the views? Parliament. Parliament. Why Parliament gave? The Constituent Assembly was the performance of the Constituent Assembly of JNK is performed by the Parliament. Where is how the Constituent Assembly? It was interpreted under Article 367 of the Constitution. It was interpreted to mean Legislative Assembly is interpreted to mean Constituent Assembly. That Legislative Assembly having been dissolved, the functions of the Legislative Assembly of JNK are performed by the Parliament, and Parliament gave its views. But Supreme Court, of course, upheld it. Supreme Court, we have no right to say when the apex court has said right. So remember, this is, I mean, tomorrow, if if you approve this, tomorrow any state can be made as a under president rule, and that state can be downgraded to union territory.
Indeed,
So
that
what I
risk.
say is that risk is there. I don't think it will happen, but there is a possibility. If a crook like me comes, I will do it.
Indeed. If we go a little back when Pranab Mukherjee was president, uh, we saw a lot of acrimony between the treasury benches and the opposition in the first term of the Narendra Modi government. And then President Mukherjee used to speak very assertively that opposition should let the parliament function and there should be debate in both the houses. But now what we see that disruption of parliament has become a normal thing. It has been normalized. And the general reference is to the statement of Sushma Swaraj and Arun Jaitley when they were the opposition leaders of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha respectively, that disruption is also a legitimate means of parliamentary democracy. How do the treasury and the opposition benches come on a common platter when there is so much of discords between the two parties?
Mr. Manish, the problem is always you will see the fight between 193 and 194. 184 involves voting. So opposition will always insist for voting, that is under 194. Ruling dispensation always say we are ready for discussion, but only on 193, that is short duration discussion, which does not involve any voting. You know, it is the responsibility, according to me, it is the responsibility of the government to ensure functioning of parliament. I have worked under Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, is one of the brightest ministers, and she has taken a lot of trouble, and you know, that is lost now. I have heard, you know, with 80 years I am running now, I have heard the speeches of Bhupesh Gupta, Hiren Mukherjee, S.A. Danke, and Sushma Swaraj, Arun Jaitley, and Atal most importantly, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. You tell me one leader. Where is the opportunity for the leaders? Where is the opportunity? Tell me. I agree. After having spoken 2 hours or 3 hours, finally the bill will be voted and they will be, according to the party line, they will vote. At least the people get the opportunity to know the merits and demerits of the bills. It is not available now. So now what? Say, according to me, very simple. According to me, Mr. Modi government should constitute a constant assembly, I mean, immediately, or they should include this in the election manifesto, because whatever they have said, they are not doing anything unlawful. They included 370 in the election manifesto, it has been translated. They included Ram Mandir in the election manifesto, it has come true. They have included uniform civil code, it should also, people have voted. They have not done anything undemocratically. People have voted, and people, 312 members means how much? 31 crore people have voted for them. So it is nothing wrong in that. So what is the cabinet ministers have little power to initiate a cabinet note. Everything is controlled by the, I mean, it is a amateur ministers. So having known that, everything is concentrated in the PMO. So what cannot be done directly, you do it indirectly. So make it a constant.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Please go ahead.
Make it a constant assembly. Say that these are all the items we want presidential form of government, and so that we instead of Jaishankar being inducted in the Rajya Sabha, and other ministers, health minister being inducted in the Rajya Sabha, you make a separate, I mean, done away these amateur ministers, and you take your own ministers, make it straight away. What is the harm in it? It was examined, presidential form of government was examined by the Saran Singh committee, by Mrs. Gandhi. They have recommended parliament. We followed parliamentary system. We have the tradition of following it under the Central Council Act. We have the Central Legislative Council. So they said we have the practice, we have the knowledge, we have the experience. Now after 70 years, there is a time for review of the Constitution, and you switch over. I mean, you put it in the election manifesto and say, if we come back to it, there is a constitutional reforms. Then the judiciary cannot also come to the picture, the basic structure, etc. So that will be also be 1 hour. That is my humble view.
Indeed, probably the Ramnath Kovind Committee, which has been constituted for one nation, one election agenda, may throw light on several other aspects. And the presidential system of governance has already been in the circulation. Even the Vajpayee government had constituted a committee on that. The recommendation is pending. The Venkat Chalaya committee report is still pending with the government. But even though formally we are not a presidential system of government, the way the things are happening, we already seem to be in that same very format. Because
That's what precisely I'm saying. You are doing it indirectly, do it directly. Do it directly.
So where would be the checks on the executive? How would the checks exercise on the executive? Then the executive would become very
People are the
powerful.
check. People will make it not more than 2 terms, like USA,
Okay.
not more than 2 terms, and reduce the Lok Sabha tenure as a 4 years, and make it a single election, state and center. That's
So
all.
there is one aspect in America. We see their committees are very powerful, and their proceedings
There is a
are
reconciliation committee. Yes,
yes, and their
I agree.
proceedings are even broadcast live. The people can watch what is being done in the committee meetings. The ministers appear before the committees. The members grill them like anything. So a lot of information comes out from those sessions. The same holds true for the British Parliament as well. But we see in Indian Parliament's standing committees, there is hardly that sort of transparency. We don't see what transpires in those meetings. There is hardly any people's insight into those meetings.
Exactly. Let's see. That is the problem. Is the same problem which I told you. There are 24 committees, 41 members, 31 from Lok Sabha, 10 from 30 from Lok Sabha, 11 from Rajya Sabha. These committees, kindly just imagine, what is the longevity of the committee? 1 year.
Yes.
And who appoints the chairman? Chairman is appointed by the, speaker, on the strength of the political parties. So the chairman belongs to a political party. Remember, normally BJP is a majority, means they will get the majority. The committee starts functioning only after 2 or 3 months. And the last end is, only say about 8 months. Demands for grants. There is no time. And when the session is there, the speaker's direction is you can hold the meeting only after 3 o'clock. When the session is not there, I told you, the interest of the members lie in their constituency. And especially previously they have the provision of getting DA. Now maybe changed, I may not know. There is no provision for them to get the DA. They come on their own and spend. Do you think they are so sacrificing? I don't think. So penny wise, pound foolish. And the member of parliament under Article 105 of the Constitution, they enjoy all privilege. All privilege they enjoy. But you are not able to pay them. Pay them properly. After all, who are they? They are represented to the people. They are kept in the, what is known as second in the, more than the secretary. How many officers respect the member of parliament equal to secretary? If secretary enters into the office, everybody will stand up. If member of parliament comes, nobody respects. That is the awareness in India. And here the problem is, the committee functioning is, it requires, there is no, it's all in-camera meeting. No outsider can come. They will call their experts. And the members of parliament, they will be circulated with the agenda. It is again the party line. It is again the party line. Tell me one standing committee which has changed the allocation after the standing committee report? No. and what is known as the quorum is 1/3, and only the 1/3 is insisted only when the bill is, when the final allocation is passed. In between, there is no need for quorum. When they undertake tour, there is no need for quorum. See, these are all working defect. You are visiting London House of Commons so many times. You see how the House of Commons committee system. There is a reconciliation committee in when there is a dispute between the two House of Representatives and Senate. In USA, there is a reconciliation committee. It is equally Senate members and House of Representatives. The Senate members are more literate, whereas our Rajya Sabha members also House of Elders. But Rajya Sabha, it is again there is a defect. You have to plug the loophole. We say Rajya Sabha is a House of States. It is a representative of the states. There is a need for nominating 12 people. Is there an imbalance in equality? Sikkim has got only one member. UP has got 34. I'm not against UP. It is based on population. And you appoint 12 members, nominated members. You see, all the I'm a Brahmin. So don't think I'm a scheduled caste. You see the nominated members. How many members are Dalit? How many members are women? It is not nominated members are mostly, so also Bharat Ratna. There is no proper system. The mindset of the people have not been changed. So these are all the standing committee requires. Now the bills are introduced in Lok Sabha. My feeling is before introduction, it should be sent to the standing committee along with the standing committee report. Now, how many bills? Only 3 bills. Last time, 3 bills only were referred to standing committee. And we skip the standing committee. If it is an ordinance, no standing committee.
True.
I can understand when Rajya Sabha BJP has no majority. Now they have a majority. They should not afraid of even deputy speaker. Now at least this section.
Definitely. While we say that we are a parliamentary democracy, and the 3 organs of the democracy, that is the executive, legislature, and judiciary, 3 of them are equal in power, and each of them functions as a check on the other. Here we see that the scale of balance appears to be tilted towards executive. But Mr. Narayanan, what is happening is that in the states, things are getting much worse. The assembly sessions are called for much shorter period. Assemblies are called even for 1 or 2 or 3 days, and hardly meetings are taking place. And executives appear they are too powerful than the legislature.
Yes, Mr. Manish Saab, I feel in the parliamentary democracy, there is a complete fusion of executive and legislature. Executive controls the legislature have no powers. We can say that Speaker Mr. Danga can say that this is the Parliament is supreme. Parliament is not supreme. Where is it supreme? Parliament, even supreme, you cannot say. Supremacy is not there. I have just now told you that it's a written constitution, so restricted. Division of powers. You have powers only on 97 subjects. And there is a judicial review. The state shall not make any law which takes away or abridges any other rights conferred in Part 3 of the Constitution, Article 13. If any such law is made, you can go to the Supreme Court for enforcement. All the more basic structure. There is no provision in the Constitution about basic structure. It is a judicial. In fact, remember, district court has been made as a basic structure. Chief Justice of India is a basic structure. And it is a continuous process. What will be included under basic structure is anybody's question. Article 142, triple talaq, and Perarivalan case, and Bhopal gas victim case, 200 meters liquor shops, this recent divorce case, where there is a gap in law, Supreme Court can step in under Article 142. Tell me, where are the powers for the only making ordinary law? That is the powers, and that too. See, I just now told you, very simple. Where the executive is making the prosecution is made by the executive, but they have the powers to withdraw prosecution. what are the literal powers of the, you can say in the IAS civil service, the students, I teach civil service, I can say parliament is financial control, executive control, and ordinance making power, everything they can make. They make the law. But where is the powers, actual powers? They elect a
Indeed.
president.
Indeed, Mr. Narayan,
No, I don't agree.
it was very insightful, and you gave a lot of insights into the functioning of Parliament, the challenges before Parliament, as well as democracy. And we have many more issues to talk about. But today we will wind up at this moment. But in future we will come back again on a new issue
Thank
to
you.
gain from your
Thank
rich knowledge and the wealth of experiences that you have.
you.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Manish. Thank you.